Chapter 2. We went about getting my visa in the next few days, and we made arrangements for someone else to stay at home with Molly till I got back. Janine was so happy to hear that I was coming, and since she lived all alone in a 5-bedroom mansion, she welcomed the company. Girl, since you've now finished college, even if you decide to live here, I won't mind. You know how much I've missed you, she'd said. I had always wanted to visit her since her departure from Jamaica, and I was looking forward to it. Of course, I didn't tell her right away what was wrong. I thought it best to tell her in person, and I did not want her to be preparing for my arrival, knowing the bad news. It would kill the fun. All the members of the church I attended during school were sad to see me leave and encouraged me to hold on to God, even though they knew nothing about the incident. They were always there for me, and I loved them a great deal. It would be so hard to leave them. I told them at the last minute in efforts to avoid it getting back to Miguel, and I only told them that I wouldn't be around for a while, not that I was leaving the island. That would have been the fastest way to get Miguel on my tail, and since I planned on avoiding him, that wouldn't be very smart. Before I left, though, I asked Pastor Nigel if I could speak with him in his office for a minute. He allowed me to precede him into the office, and the feeling of being absolutely trapped within 4 walls with a male behind me hit me like a freight train out of nowhere. I had to give myself a mental talking to. This is Pastor Nigel. You're in his office. You'll be fine. He doesn't want to hurt you. This won't take long. You'll be out of here in less than 5 minutes. I willed myself to stay calm, at least outwardly, and ended up forgetting the conversation I had carefully crafted in my head as I blurted, "Miguel raped me!" I continued to ramble on. "I'm telling you this as a pastor, not a friend. I need that confidentiality clause to apply to this conversation. That's why I'm leaving, and I don't know when I'll be coming back." I finally drew a breath and looked up into Pastor Nigel's eyes to see his reaction. He must have had enough time to school his features because his face was absolutely blank of expression. "You know you have to forgive him, right?" was all he said. Of all the reactions I expected, outrage on my behalf, sympathy, devastation for what I had lost, and all the other reactions my imagination had conjured up over the course of a week, this had not been one of them. I was as much a Christian as anybody else, but I certainly was nowhere near the forgiveness phase of this experience. I looked at him with my mouth dropped open, then simply turned and walked away. "Marcia," he called after me, but I just kept walking. Apart from a soul-searing level of disappointment in this man whom I called friend and mentor, I couldn't help but notice the deep sense of relief I felt from no longer being in close quarters with a male. When I got home, I sat looking at the wall for a long time, my mind absolutely blank. I had been operating on autopilot since that night, and I could feel myself beginning to break. I got up, shook myself a little, and decided to call my parents. They were always a place of comfort and consolation for me, so I called them and spoke about nothing in particular. My parents knew nothing. I told them that I needed a long break, and that if I could, after I had rested a little, I would get a job. I really didn't like burdening my parents with my problems. They had enough trouble of their own. Maybe later sometime when I had dealt with the situation enough and they didn't have to see the pain in my eyes when I spoke about it, I would tell them. But for now, this was my baby. I was fortunate enough to be able to leave within 8 days, during which time Miguel neither called nor turned up at the house. I knew he was giving me time to cool off, or that he was so embarrassed that he was trying to get himself together, which he always did when we had a fight, on a lesser scale, but I was still very angry that he didn't call. I wouldn't have answered or seen him, but some small part of me just wanted to know that he had called. I was really mad at him, but the thought of leaving him without saying a word after being with him for so long was tearing me up inside. Don't hate him, Molly. Please. Don't add him to the list of bad guys. What if things work out and we do get married? I want you to be happy for me and not hate him. I said it not believing a word, but in hopes of mitigating the additional damage this could cause to one of my closest friends. How can you talk like that? He raped you, she said, gritting her teeth and trying to control her anger. I know. You don't have to remind me. I was on the verge of breaking down. I'm sorry, Marcia. Don't cry. I'll forgive him. But just for you. You go on and have a great time with Janine. I took a deep breath, trying to calm the emotions I was feeling, not only for myself, but also for my friend. You're such a great friend, Molly. I'm going to miss you, and I'll call you as often as I can. We got out of the car, gave the luggage to one of the porters, and squeezed each other so tight I thought we'd squeeze the wind out of each other. Bye, I said as I turned to go through the security door. Bye, she responded. I could see the tears welling up in her eyes, and I deliberately didn't look back. As I boarded the plane, I thought about Jamaica and the people I was leaving behind. I'd never left home for such an extended period. I thought about Miguel. I never realized how much I missed him until now. Since the incident, Molly hardly ever let me out of her sight, and if she did, she ensured that someone was with me. So, until now, I had not been without companionship. Thinking about Miguel caused the tears to run down my face. I turned away, but not before the lady sitting beside me saw them and said kindly, "No matter what you're going through, God is there for you. Tears are a language God understands." She smiled. I tried to smile, but the tears just kept flowing. It's just amazing how God gives you the right person at the right time sometimes. Thanks, I whispered as she squeezed my hand. I woke up to the hostesses serving the meal. Just in time, a friendly hostess said with a smile as she served me. I was feeling much better, and the excitement was starting to kindle inside me, so I was able to give her a genuine smile as I said, "Thank you." I ate and spent the rest of the time with my earphones in. I cleared customs quickly, which I thought was a miracle from the many accounts I received of bad experiences. As soon as I grabbed my bags and turned around, Janine spotted me, and I went running and screaming to her. "What's up, girl? You lost so much weight," Janine quipped. "And you have put on so much weight," I jeered. "Oh, it's so good to see you," I said, hugging her again. We went into the car for the hour-long drive home. It only seemed like a few minutes, though. We had so much to catch up on. Somehow, I was able to steer the conversation away from Miguel. Janine helped me unpack and get settled right away. We sat on the porch and chatted about back in the day. Then she popped the big question. "Girl, how could I forget to ask? How are you and Miguel doing?" I held my head down, and instantly my emotions betrayed me and the tears started flowing. "What's wrong? You guys split up recently?" she asked, concerned. She held my hands with both of hers. He, I tried to let it out, but it was so hard. I knew exactly what her reaction would be. "Girl, don't let me have a heart attack from anxiety," Janine said, getting more hysterical by the minute. "He raped me," I finally blurted out with my eyes lowered. Janine got up in a fury and walked to the balcony rail. For a minute, I'm sure she forgot that I was there. Janine, don't take it too hard, and don't go back down memory lane. What I had never told Molly, because I was sworn to secrecy, was that the real reason that Janine had not studied in Jamaica with us was that she herself had been raped by a dysfunctional father. She was just about to turn down her space in a US university when it happened, so she decided to stay with her aunt. They were really tight, especially since her mother had refused to believe her at first. Her aunt had taken her side and classed her brother as a no-good boy from the beginning. After living with her aunt for 2.5 years, her aunt had passed away and left her the house since she had no children of her own. She was still working on having a relationship with her mother, and even more so on forgiving her father. She had taken it really badly and had lost all her sense of worth, all desire to live, and all forms of motivation. It was partly my fault. I didn't do enough to stop it, I said. Stop it, she said sharply. You know better than me that once you say no, it is rape. Don't even try to pick up for that boy. Have you reported it to the cops? No, I almost screamed. I don't want to do that. You still love him after all that? She said in disbelief. That's Marsha for you, always forgiving. I don't know what to call you, naive or silly, she said softly, looking away. I felt oddly chastised, an added dimension to my already muddled emotional state. Enough depression for one day. I'm sure you don't want to spend all day talking about it. Want to swim? Janine said, giving me a quick out. Sure. Always takes my mind off my troubles, I said. I found it hard to let go of my towel when we were at the pool because I felt so naked and exposed. It was just like everywhere there were eyes trying to see me naked. Eventually, though, I had to dive in because Janine pulled it from around me. We splashed like kids and had a lot of fun. I was beginning to feel alive again. I tried to put the distance of the trip between me and the situation. I let loose for the first time since that night. We got dressed and Janine started preparing dinner as I called everybody back home. Hey Molly, what's up? I miss you so much. How's everything going? Slow down. If I didn't know better, I'd think you guys were gay. Janine butted in. Sounds like somebody's jealous, I laughed back. Whatever, girl. I know I'm number one in your heart, and you'd better know that too, Molly dear. There was always friendly rivalry whenever we got together. We chatted and the banter continued for the next several minutes, and I was surprised at how at ease I felt for the moment. I'll talk to you soon, Molly. Princess Marsha is going to get ready for her royal meal. Bye, I said, and went to set the dining table. What are we going to do while you're here? I've got my plans, but I don't know if you can handle them. Janine smiled as we sat down to eat. Well, I hope to just chill for at least the first week, then it's on to the job hunt. Sounds like a plan. I've taken leave for at least the first month that you're here, so we can have tons of fun. I'll even put in a word for you with one of my friends. I work at a firm in which she's a manager. I'm so excited. Tomorrow we've got a packed day, so you are going to bed early. Yeah, you know that I don't get up early unless I have to. But Drill Sergeant Janine is going to change that tomorrow, I'm sure. You got that right. You're a smart one, she said sarcastically. I'm going to go wash up, I said, after eating only a small portion. Girl, I'll just put them in the dishwasher and leave them till the morning. You go get ready for bed. You've had a long day. All right, Mother J. I'll see you in the morning. Chapter 3. I gave you an extra 10 minutes, Janine said as I forced my eyes open the next morning. Janine had brought me tea. You've got to stop spoiling me like this, I said helplessly. I'll get you something from every food group, just the way you like it. Girl, you know me. The breakfast thing ain't really going to work for me. Soon it will be back to lunch, dinner, and snacks, Janine replied. I'll prep breakfast from the night before and take over the morning shift, even if I have to set the alarm. You're going to lose all that weight that you put on, I vowed. You must have been tired last night. When I finished locking up last night and came to check on you, you were out cold. Yes, I guess so, I said lazily, trying to get up to wash my face. Janine laughed. Same old lazy Marcia. You were never a morning person. Always prefer to stay up too late to do what you had to do, then sleep the next morning. What time is it? Time to rise and shine. It's your first full day here, and we are going to enjoy it to the max. I picked out some clothes and ironed them while Janine told me about some of her college adventures. She hadn't had time to tell me everything over the phone. I got up and went to the closet. What am I to wear? Just dress comfortably. I'm so excited, I said as I thought of the wonderful day ahead. I'll be ready in 10. Yeah, more like an hour. I know you a little too well, she said. You're a stalker. Only stalkers know so much about other people, I said, throwing a pillow at her. I'll go make breakfast, Jenny said, disappearing out the door as I headed for the shower. Okay, but I know you're not one to have breakfast. You don't have to act all healthy for me, I said, jeering. Yeah, whatever. Just get dressed, she shouted over her shoulder. Okay, Drill Sergeant Janine, at your service, I replied. We went out and toured Chicago every day for a month. Sometimes we even went out of state. It was so much fun learning about the culture of another country and sightseeing. Life in the city was so different from life in Jamaica. There was life all the time and you never got bored. Needless to say, my presence delayed Janine's plans in every area. She even wanted to extend her leave. We were having so much fun, much more than she'd had since she'd been in Chicago, according to Janine. Where are we going today, Janine? I asked anxiously. I was surprised that she had actually let me sleep late that morning. I've got a surprise for you, she replied. What is it? I asked, sounding like an over-enthusiastic 4-year-old. If I told you, it wouldn't be a surprise now, would it? She said cheekily. All right, you got me. I'm ready, and without your prompting too, I said proudly. Yep, at 11:30 in the morning. I'm so proud of you, she said sarcastically. I figured you should be pretty tired after all this activity. I know you're not quite the active type. You don't mind eating breakfast on the road today, do you? Not at all. I'll even pay for an exotic breakfast. Anything to get you out of the kitchen. I'm beginning to feel like my mother is here. I'll be there in a minute, she replied, laughing. But you're not paying for anything. I went into the living room to give her some time to finish up what she was doing. I was feeling a little dizzy, so I sat down for a while with my head down. Janine came in and saw me. Are you okay, girl? She asked. I just feel a little dizzy and my tummy isn't feeling too well, I replied. I know. It's all that late night eating that we've been. Before she even finished her sentence, I had to rush to the bathroom. I felt like my tummy was turning inside out. I threw up uncontrollably. Janine stood at the door, watching me until I stopped. I got up to flush and rinse with some mouthwash. It was hard to believe that I had just brushed my teeth. There was this terrible taste that lingered. I dried my mouth with a towel and sat on the covered toilet. If you're not up to it, tell me, sweetie. I won't force it. She gave me a hug. And ruin my surprise? No way, Jose. I'm just feeling a little dizzy, that's all. Okay then, let's saddle up. You're sure you're all right? Yes, I'm fine. I'm ready, I reaffirmed. And you're sure you're not going to throw up all over the car and give me work to do? She stressed. I'm fine. Will you stop acting like my mom? I said with a weak smile. I'm starting to feel so much like Jamaica and not Chicago. Besides, usually once I throw up, my tummy is settled. Okay, Mama? All right, Marcia, then we're ready, she said. I noticed Janine looking intently at me when I was getting up. I lost track of that thought as I felt dizzy the instant I got up. Janine grabbed my arm to steady me as I closed my eyes for a while. I opened them and was able to refocus. After a while, it went away. Are you sure you're okay? She said, really concerned now. I'll be fine, I said, trying to convince myself. I'd never felt like this before. I was just trying to be brave and hoping that it would go away. When we got into the car, I closed my eyes and leaned back on the headrest. Janine was silent for the first part of the journey. She looked as though she were thinking about something when I glanced over at her. Maybe the surprise, I thought, closing my eyes again. We're almost there. Keep your eyes closed. When the car stopped, she told me to open my eyes. We were in the parking lot of one of the biggest malls I'd ever seen. Shopping! I squealed. Girl, good old retail therapy. I've got a debit card with her name on it. Ah! I screamed, hugging her so tight I thought I'd kill her. You know how much I love shopping, and you wanted me to stay home. You're crazy. And it's at what I call my name brand sale capital. Let's go, she said. I'm right behind you, I said, forgetting for a while that I wasn't feeling well. We ate, shopped, and had fun for hours. Then we sat in a park and had a hot dog. The pain in my tummy had faded. There were some cute little kids close by, and we sat there watching them play. You still love children like you did when I was in Jamaica? Janine asked. Yeah, Miguel and I used to talk about having them all the while. He wants a football team and I want twins, I sighed. Listen to you. You talk about him like if I had caught my father so soon after he raped me, he'd be dead now. Yeah, I know. But you yourself told me that being bitter doesn't help. And I know that I still love him. I don't know if we'll ever get back together though. I miss him, but I think my thoughts of him might have changed a little. Janine, sometimes I wonder if I did anything wrong. No, hear me out, I said, holding up my hand to stop her comment before I could finish. I know I'm not processing everything right. But I also need to say some things out loud to help me in my processing. Talking helps, they say. Okay, go ahead, Janine responded. Okay, so I've been searching my memory really hard to find out if I did anything to lead him on. If I inadvertently put him under pressure by being so close to him these last few months. I mean, I'd been looking forward to the day he'd pop the question and I'd get to plan the wedding. I let out a puff of air. The wedding. I no longer get to plan a wedding, Janine. Do I really have to start all over? Build a new relationship? Learn a person all over? I don't want to have to do all those things. I don't know what to say, Janine replied. The first part is just a bunch of garbage. But the second part absolutely breaks my heart. What if... Never mind, she said. Let's go home. We can relax, then go to see a movie or something later. Where do you get all this money from? Well, my childless aunt died and left me a fortune, as you know, which I invested. I worked on campus through college and my mom sent me guilt money. Guilt money? I asked. Yes, it's like she's trying to pay me to love and forgive her. Oh, I see. I've got to rip you off before I leave then, I said, smiling mischievously. Or we could start a business like we always planned, she said, smiling back. Okay, let's go. We went home and had a swim and watched a DVD instead of going out. The following morning, I actually beat Janine to the kitchen and prepared one of those wholesome meals I knew that Janine would have trouble getting used to. It's breakfast time, sunshine, I said as she entered the kitchen. It's a miracle, she said sleepily. Oh, I never imagined that your morning face would look like that. I always see sunshine when you come in to wake me in the mornings, I said. That's because I use breakfast making time to do my waking up. Okay, I see. I think I can learn that trick, I replied. We ate and talked together, but before I had finished eating, I had to rush to the bathroom because of an upset stomach. Everything came right back up. Janine sat beside me on the bathroom floor till I could get up to wash my face and brush that nasty taste out of my mouth. That concerned look that I had seen in the morning before had returned. What is it, Janine? I asked weakly, knowing that she had something on her mind. Marcia, I'm concerned about you. I think we should go to the doctor. Okay, I agreed half-heartedly. I had never had this type of illness before. Dizziness, severe headaches, and vomiting. I was becoming worried myself after 2 consecutive mornings. There was a thought that I was trying to keep at the back of my mind, but the more I watched Janine's reaction, the more it came to the fore. We both got ready and went to visit Janine's doctor. According to Janine, she had a degree in every area, so whatever the ailment was, she would be able to diagnose it. We had a little wait before we could see her, and in those few minutes, the thoughts passing through my mind made it seem like hours. I was so uneasy and anxious that I got up and paced for a while. Fortunately, the doctor came out soon after. Miss Clark? That's me, Doc, I said, my anxiety obvious. Come with me, Janine. If it's bad news, I can't handle it alone. Hi, Nikki. How are you doing? It's been a while, Janine said. Yeah, too long. We need to get together sometime, the doctor replied. Their informality didn't surprise me. Janine turned to me and said, This is the doctor I was telling you about, who counseled me and helped me through my rough time. Oh, I said, remembering that conversation and my gratefulness to her for being there for my best friend. I couldn't express my thanks at this moment, though. I was way too nervous. Hello, Miss Clark. My name is Dr. McNeish, but you can call me Nikki. Janine told me that you were having terrible nausea, vomiting, and dizziness. She also told me that you have a healthy lifestyle and that she doesn't think that has changed in recent times. Are you sexually active? No, I said. Then I corrected myself. I mean, yes. I held my head down in shame. Actually, my boyfriend raped me some time ago. Oh no. Have you reported it to the cops? You should put him in jail. No, I don't want to do that. I see. I'm guessing you're still in love with him. But you really should teach him that it doesn't go unpunished. Have you done a pregnancy test? The doctor asked. Still hanging my head down, I said, No, I haven't. Up until now, I've been trying to ignore the possibility that I might be pregnant. Why are you hanging your head down like that? You have nothing to be ashamed of. He is the one who ought to be ashamed for what he has done, she said kindly. Come with me, she said, taking me into a smaller room to do the test. As I exited the room and waited anxiously for the verdict, I squeezed Janine's hands and bit my lips. Well, sorry to be the one to tell you, but you are indeed pregnant. You still have time to do an abortion, the doctor said. No! Janine and I chimed together firmly. We both had strong views on the issue of abortion. Don't do it, and that's that. When she was raped, she'd found out that she was pregnant, but she soon lost it as she had a severe reaction to the whole situation. She had been very depressed, and because she could not take the antidepressants, she had tried to de-stress in a way that was fatal to the baby and almost fatal to her. Badminton. She had overworked her body to the point of total breakdown. It was her favorite sport, and she never stopped to think of the harm she could have done to her unborn child. I just had to do something to de-stress, she said. It was a tough time for both of us. It pained my heart that I was not there with her. I'll get a job so I can take care of my baby, I said firmly as I came back to reality. Okay. There's a help hotline that you can call that will help you to deal with all the issues that will arise as a result of all the recent happenings in your life. Here's my card. You can call me anytime, night or day. Janine is one of my closest patients. You see, my heart reaches out to victims of rape. I have seen it happen all too often. Thank you. Thank you so much. Knowing I had someone looking out for my best interests made me feel a little better. Hugging me, Janine said, Are you all right? You know me, I answered, always having delayed reactions. I won't know if I'm all right till I get home. Thank you, Nikki, Janine said as we got up. We'll be in touch. All right, sweetie. Take care now. Bye-bye, Nikki returned. The car was filled with an almost eerie silence on the way home. I don't know what Janine was thinking about, maybe recalling her experience. My mind, however, was on how I was going to take care of this child I was carrying. I burst my brain thinking of where I would send applications and what else I would do in order to earn an income. Then I thought of all the things I would need to get before this child arrived, and how I would get them if I didn't find a job. I thought about the hospital bill and the complications that could occur. My head was spinning. I threw my head back in despair with an agitated expression. How could this be happening to me? I screamed, bursting into tears. I was furious, hurt, and worried. I felt like hating Miguel, and for the entire time I was crying. I struggled with whether or not I should just let go and hate him. I banged my fist against the dashboard and hit my head on the window beside me. Janine was so scared that she could have barely pulled the car off the road before she jumped out and pulled me from the car. She held me and tried to comfort me the best way she could. Soon, though, I pulled her down to the pavement as I collapsed, emotionally broken. What did I do to deserve this? I haven't been that bad. I tried my best to be a good Christian, and though I've had some freedom the last few years at school, I've never been to any of those dances or been sexually involved. You know me, Janine. If I did, I would have told you. Why is this happening to me? By now we had begun to draw attention to ourselves, and the vehicles had started pulling up to find out what was happening. "She's just going through a rough time," Janine responded to the queries as she too broke down in tears. Memories and empathy had started to pull out emotions she had fought hard to hide. Someone came and rested her hand gently on my shoulder. "What's wrong, Janine? Anything I can help with?" "Yes, you can, Jamie," she said. "You are the perfect person for the job." Taking a deep breath, Janine managed to pull herself together as she and Jamie helped me to my feet and into the back of the car. I laid there with my eyes closed and cried as Janine spoke with the persons who had stopped. One by one, the cars started leaving. She spoke with Jamie, and I heard a man offering to help. He said he was a pastor and that he would leave his card so that we could call him if we needed him. When they had all left, Janine and Jamie came back to the car. "Hi," Jamie said. "I'm from the crisis center. I'll take you down there. I don't think any one of you are in a condition to drive right now. I'll go park my car and be right back." As soon as she turned her back, I burst into fresh tears. "Don't cry, babe. Don't cry. It's gonna be all right. You'll see," Janine said, rocking me, cuddled up in her motherly arms. It was one of the traits she and Molly had in common. I tried to control my emotions, but they gave me no indications that they intended to be tamed. Eventually, I just let them flow. I cried until I had a really bad headache. When Jamie came back, I was gasping and feeling stuffy. I felt so weak that I thought I was going to pass out. I held my forehead and groaned softly. The strength kept draining from my body, so much so that I fell asleep.